Hello, 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 and welcome. It's been a hot minute since I've been here. In fact, I've been behind the scenes trying to figure out it all again because it's been a little while since I've come here and shared insight with every one of you. I'm going to take a minute and go and make sure that I'm streaming where I need to be. I do know that I'm already on Facebook, so if you happen to be here with me on Facebook, please go ahead and say hello. And I'm just going to make sure I'm on YouTube as well. So give me a second. Make sure I am there, streaming, ready to go. And I am on YouTube. Mm-mm. Takes a little while, just a little bit. So if you are watching from YouTube, please go ahead and leave your comments there. And if you are watching from Facebook, leave your comments here as well. We have a hot topic going on for tonight. After all, like I said, it's been a while that I've been here, so I thought I'd come and share information with you. Tonight's topic is all about a big shift happening, how it impacts your mind, body, and your soul. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Dr. Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. I'm the founder of Holistic Fitness and why I serve, help, and transform women over 40, helping them to release emotional weight without dieting while they step into their soul's calling with confidence and courage. All that being said, the W in holistic is all about your physical body, your mind, your emotions, and your soul. So let's get in it for tonight. Hopefully, some of you will be joining me live. Otherwise, will be catching this on replay. As again, it's been a hot minute since I've been here, but I did want to come and share some insight. This live was inspired by a conversation I was having earlier today with a client where she was not feeling well. In fact, she hasn't been feeling well for some time. And I wanted to just do some research to find out like what's been going on and why is it that there are so many people just not feeling the greatest at this moment. So many people are experiencing what they call flus, colds, and even fevers for that matter. And I like to believe that in the reality of things, when we experience physical symptoms such as a cold, flu, or even fever, it's really just your body's way of letting you know that there's something possibly out of alignment, or that you may very well be going through what is called a spiritual evolution, spiritual really, I can't even speak, calibration, or even a spiritual awakening. And all of it's the same pretty much when we think about it. Every one of us are evolving from who we were just about 10 days ago. We only flipped the calendar over on January 1st. It is now January 10th, 2026. And when many of us come together to chat, many of us are in agreement that the new year really doesn't start until more or less after Lunar New Year. So Lunar New Year is February 13th at 2026, where we will begin embrace the year of the fire horse. So currently, we are still in the year of the snake and finishing off that energy. And again, every one of us had an opportunity during the year of the snake to shed that no longer serve who you are and who you're here to become. And as we do begin this fire horse energy as of February 13, 2026, in addition to that, we are going to be experiencing some other big shifts happening. And today I want to come and share that information with you. Now, there may be a time while I am live that I will not have access to seeing who's going to be on my Facebook page because I will be reading some notes that I put up in my notebook on my phone. So if I do not respond to a message that you may be posting, once I'm finished reading the notes from there, I will come back and, of course, respond to any of the comments that show up. And again, if you are here, feel free to let me know that you are here. I want to see if I can holler some of you in. So give me just a minute just to call some of you in. Facebook has changed so much. I used to like when we can easily invite folks in. Let's see if there's a way to do that. Maybe there is. Maybe there isn't. Who knows? Anyway, whatever the case. Just give me a minute just to see if I can get some folks to come on in. All right, we're going to leave it there. So again, today's topic is a big shift happening. How is it going to impact your mind, your body, and your soul? And I want to start off, as I said, we are currently 10 days into January 2026. And we're going to start to experience some big shifts happening between our planets and, of course, Lunar New Year. As mentioned, we are currently in the snake year. That will be finishing off as of February 13th. So we just have about 33 days before we experience the fire horse energy. Now, if you know anything about horses, you know that they are fast. You know they are, they keep a consistent pace, especially when they are running. And that's the energy that we're in. We're going to be keeping a consistent pace once Lunar New Year's comes in and going forward from there. Whereas with the snake year, it was a little bit slow, maybe even a little sluggish, because we were peeling old layers, old behaviors, old habits off that we no longer need. Now, in addition to this shift that we're going to be experiencing, I will be sharing with you about 2 planets, specifically 2 planets. However, I will be talking to you about other planets as well. But the primary conversation for today is about the 2 planets that are going to be shifting into a brand new astrological year. Now, a little bit about that, just in case you're not familiar. When we talk about an astrological new year, it means that a planet is moving out of the last zodiac sign, which is Pisces, and moving into the Aries energy, and Aries begins the astrological cycle. So when we think about these 2 planets, I'm speaking about Neptune and Saturn. Neptune is the planet, if we had to simplify it, we'll simplify it by saying Neptune is all about the spiritual evolution. It deals with your dreams, it deals with your imagination, your psyche, your intuition, your illusions, and even delusions for that matter. And it's very much associated with addictions as well. And when we talk about Saturn, Saturn is about restructuring. It's about your foundation restructuring. Now, when I speak about foundation, foundation can be your actual workplace, home place, or your physical body as well. And so both of these planets are going to be moving out of Pisces, and Pisces is all about intuition. It's about your psychic abilities. It's about your dreams. It's about your imagination. And for the last 14 years, Neptune has spent its time in Pisces, with a small gap of time when Neptune moved forward into Aries, which gave us a general idea of what's going to feel like for the next 14 years. And that actually took place as of October 23rd of 2025, where Neptune moved into Aries energy. And like I said, I'm going to be reading off some notes for you. So let me just grab those notes. Wrong notes. I'm sitting in the wrong notes. Okay, so as I was saying with Neptune, when we think about it, Neptune began its retrograde in Aries on July 4th and then went back into Pisces on October 22nd of 2025. And then went forward again on December 10th. And as of January 26th of 2026, Neptune will leave Pisces for the final time in our lifetime. Because remember, Neptune spends 14 years in a zodiac sign. So for those of you maybe just turning 10 or just turning 2 or just turning 14, you'll get to experience Neptune moving into Taurus, where some of us may get to experience, well, most of us will get to experience Neptune moving into Taurus once it does its transit in Aries, but none of us will get to experience another Neptune Pisces energy again, because when you really think about it, 14 years times 12, that's a really, really long time when we think of the energy in itself. I'm just going to pull that up for you guys, because I know some of you like numbers. So that's 168 years. So the next time Neptune will be in Pisces again will be 168 years from now. And I'm sure none of us will be here at that point in time. So this is revolutionary that Neptune is moving out of Pisces and preparing its way into Aries on January 26th of 2026. And with that being said, when we think about Neptune moving over, and then I'll come back and talk more about Saturn as well. So with that being said about Neptune moving into Aries and how this is going to impact all of us, when we speak about Aries energy, Aries is your I am statement. It is about who you are and what it is you are here to do and what legacy you want to leave behind. So when we talk about Neptune's energy, it's like taking off the mask and being your whole authentic self. No longer pretending to be something you're not. No longer working in a job that really doesn't align with you. No longer doing anything that doesn't really align with you. And that's really the energy of Neptune in Aries. Now, when we speak about Saturn moving out of Pisces and moving into Aries, let's talk a little bit about that energy. So when we talk about Saturn's energy, Saturn entered Pisces on March 29th of 2025. And then as of May 24th of 2025, Saturn moved into Aries for a short period of time. And then at approximately September 1st of 2025, Saturn retrograde back into Pisces. So from May to about September, we had a short brief of what Saturn in Aries would feel like going forward. As of November 27th, 28th, Saturn went direct, meaning forward motion. And as of February 13th, Saturn will leave Pisces and work its way into Aries. Now, a little bit about Saturn's energy when we talk about Saturn. Saturn is about restructuring. It's about your foundation. And it's also about boundary setting. Saturn spends about 2.5 to 3 years in a zodiac sign. So we will probably, some of us will get to experience another Saturn Pisces energy, because if we think about that, we'll give it the long term. Every 3 years in a zodiac sign times 12. So that's about 36 years. So whatever age you are right now, add 36 years to that. And that's the age you will be the next time we'll experience a Saturn Pisces energy. Now, at that point in time, you may be at that very end cycle that it really won't matter, theoretically speaking, and maybe it will, who knows. So, how does this impact you in regards to the energy that we are moving into when we think about it? And when we think about this energy that we're moving into, and like I said, we have both Neptune and Saturn leaving out of the last zodiac sign and beginning its whole astrological new year. And in addition to Neptune and Saturn making its way into Aries, what is also very significant about this energy is that both of them will be in conjunction at a 0 degree. And a 0 degree means there's a brand new beginning taking place, which is really big. Now let's talk a little bit about transitions and how this plays a role with your body, your mind, and of course your emotions and your soul. Because when we have planetary movement happening, it does impact our physical body. After all, every zodiac sign and any planet is associated with our physical body and also very much associated with our internal organs. So therefore, we may very well be feeling different things going on in our physical body because of it. Now, the one thing I do want to share, point out to you, when we talk about the physical body and we talk about how it impacts our body, I do want to bring to your attention that when we talk about both Neptune and Saturn moving into Aries, I'm sure some of you know this already. Aries is a fire sign, and it's also a cardinal sign. And now, in with it being a cardinal sign, we do have 3 other cardinal signs that's playing in this. So we also have the cardinal sign with Libra, and then we also have the cardinal sign with Cancer, and the cardinal sign with Capricorn. So these 4 cardinal signs are also going to be influenced by this big shift that's coming through with Neptune and Saturn as well. Please note, we're all going to feel this energy shifting, whether we are a cardinal sign or not. However, those who are cardinal signs are going to experience this energy a little differently than those of us who are not cardinal signs. Also, the other thing I want to bring to your attention, but not focus too much on, we do have other planets that are going to be making shifts as well. And I'm just going to run those by you just so at least you have the information in front of you, where we will have Uranus getting ready to move forward out of Taurus and move into Gemini and spend the next 8 years in that energy. And I'm going to pull up information so you'll have that as well. So bear with me as I get that, because I would like for you to have that information. So I just have to find it for a moment. Stay with me, and you'll be able to take some notes. If not now, you'll definitely be able to come back later and take some notes. Just give me a second to get there. All right, I think I have it. Yes. And maybe not. I do. Okay, so here's the notes for you. I was hoping I'd get them. So when we talk about Uranus, Uranus is the planet of rebellious, it's chaos, and it's the unpredictability. Now, when we talk about Uranus moving forward in Gemini, that's going to be taking place as of April 25th of 2026. And as mentioned, that will be over a period of the next 9 years, so moving right into 2033 at that time. I'm not going to go into too much detail as to how it's going to impact us, but I do want you to have the dates just so you can play with this and really understand the correlation to everything we will be experiencing. The next zodiac sign, the next planet that's going to be making a transition will be our North nodes. Currently, they are in Pisces and Virgo. They will be moving into Aquarius and Leo, and this transition takes place as of July 2026 for 18 months. And then we already know about Saturn. We will also have Jupiter making its transition as well. The first half of 2026, just like 2025, we have Jupiter sitting in Cancer energy, and that will be changing as of Jupiter will stay in Cancer until July 30th of 2026 and then make its way into Leo on July 30th of 2026 and stay there until January 2027. So I do want you to pay attention to the information I just provided for you so you can better understand this energy that we are moving into. And something that I definitely want you to be aware of, and I'm writing a note down too, so again, I can share it with you. When we think about the energies we have going on, and again, I'm just writing the notes. So bear with me. All right. Okay, so as I mentioned, when we talk about this energy we have going on, we have the 4 cardinal signs that's going to be impacted by the Neptune Saturn energy, because again, all of those cardinal energies are going to be making a connection with one another at some point throughout the years, with Neptune moving into Aries. And then we also will have a really big connection between the air signs as well. So 2026 is going to be a big influence on our fire and air signs. Whereas again, when we talk about Gemini's energy, with Uranus moving into Gemini, that's air. When we talk about Jupiter's energy moving into Leo, that's fire. And then we talk about our north and south node energy moving into air and fire as well. And let's not forget, we also have Pluto in Aquarius, which Pluto has entered Aquarius back in 2024 of, I want to say it was the ending of 2024 that Pluto has entered into Aquarius. I don't have those notes in front of me, but it was definitely the ending of, let me just pull that up for you. Yes. All right, so Pluto had entered Aquarius in 2024. First time was January 20th, 2024, and then again on September 1st of 2024. And permanently on November 19th of 2024. So we talk about the energies of Pluto in Aquarius, the process of what we call we are in the age of Aquarius. Pluto is all about the transformations we're under. And Aquarius is about your visions, your collaborations, and your networks. So back to the energy that we're really here to talk about, which is this Neptune and Saturn energy, how it's going to be making a big impact, and not just making a big impact collectively, but also personally, and how it's going to impact our mind, body, and our soul as well. Because again, when we speak about shifts, transits, big movements, and because we are all connected to the planets and zodiac signs as well, if you have ever studied your astrology chart, you do know that you have all 12 zodiac signs in your chart, and you also have all the planets in your chart. You may have some placement where you have empty houses, but you still have all of the zodiac signs and also all the planets in your chart, which means we are connected one way or another. And because we are connected, we are going to feel this transition that's happening. You may already be feeling the transition that's already happening, because we are literally, as again, today's January 10th, the first transition is going to be taking place on January 26th. That's what, less than 16 days away, where Neptune will be moving into Aries and will be staying there for 14 years. And the first 3 years of this transition is extremely important because Neptune and Saturn will be sitting very closely together, coasting, helping us to navigate through our spiritual evolutions and also helping us to really restruct our foundations if you have not already restructured your foundation. So I do want to go over how these energies are going to play a role in our physical bodies, specifically for our Aries. And because again, we all have Aries in our chart. Aries on your chart, based on the collective, is associated with the first house. The first house is all about self. It's how we see ourselves. It's how we want to be seen. It's how we want to be remembered, so to speak. Now, Aries itself is your I am statement. It's also about your, what are you here to do? So what is your soul's purpose? And then also, what legacy will you be leaving behind when it's your time to go home? So we talk about Aries energies, the areas of the body that Aries is associated with is the head and the stomach. So I do want you to be mindful that as you're making this transition, how this is going to play a role for you. And when I say head and stomach, and when I say your body, be really mindful on what you might be feeling. You may find that with this energy we're experiencing, that you may experience maybe headaches, you may experience migraines. If you are prone to those, chances are if you're sun, moon, or ascending Aries energy, you may be prone to that to begin with. Now, if you're someone like me that does not have Aries in their first house, excuse me, in their ascending sign, their moon or their sun energy, I'm not prone to headaches. However, it could very well happen where, with this energy, we're feeling it. Remember that Neptune is about the higher consciousness. Neptune is about retraining our brain to think differently. Retraining our brain to learn how to balance through the ego, but not be led through the ego. So it's really important you pay attention to if you are experiencing maybe some lightheadedness, some dizziness, or even tension in the head because of this energy that we are experiencing. So also you do want to pay attention to where you have Aries on your chart. What house is Aries in? Aries is ruled by Mars. So Mars is going to be a big player as Neptune sits in Aries energy. So you also want to pay attention to that as well. Where do you have Mars on your chart? Because those two placements are going to be big as well. And if you're really not sure how to read your chart, or you don't really know how to go about navigating through your chart, this is an opportunity for you to definitely reach out to me and schedule either a reading, or B, sign up for my astrological numerology 52-week course so you can learn about your chart. This is very potent to do so at this point in time, because you will want to know how to navigate through the next 14 years and know exactly what degrees Neptune is in as it's traveling through your chart. So when we think about Neptune in Aries, and we already said that Aries is associated with your head and stomach, and you also want to pay attention to where you have Mars on your chart as well. Mars is about the action. Mars is about the leader. Mars is about the boss. So again, where do you have both of those energies on your chart? What house are they in? Those would be the two houses that very well will be lit up for you as Neptune plays in that space. Now, let's say where you have Neptune on your chart, maybe you have Neptune sitting in your Taurus house, or maybe you have Neptune sitting in your Pisces house, or maybe you have Neptune sitting in your Virgo placement. You want to pay attention to that as well. Collectively, Neptune will be transiting your Aries house. However, where you actually have it on your chart, where you have Neptune on your chart, is going to be important as well. Because that's going to play a role. So if we think about it, we think about the triangle here. We're looking at the Aries placement on your chart because that's a primary role. We're going to look at the fact that Neptune is transiting over your Aries placement, you also want to look at where you have Neptune on your chart. What house is Neptune in? Because that's going to be lit up as well. So those two areas on your chart are going to be lit up as well for the 14 years. However, what we're really zooming in on is the first 3 years between 2026, 2027, and 2028, because we're going to have both Neptune and Saturn literally riding very closely together in that 0 degrees, helping you to transform something, to restructure something, to recreate a new foundation, so to speak. Okay, so now we talk about Taurus energy. So let's say you have Neptune in Taurus, and maybe you don't. Maybe your sun, moon, or ascending is in Taurus. These are the body parts. These are the areas of the body that Taurus rules, and that's the neck, the throat, your vocal cords, and your thyroid glands. So pay attention that with this shift that's coming in, because again, the reason why I'm sharing what body parts and areas of the body is associated with this shift that's coming through is because as we are going through this shift, as Neptune is beginning to move into Aries, you may be feeling this in your body. And I do want you to understand that as you feel this in your body, it's not necessary, one second. It's not necessary to run to your doctor to find out what's going on, unless, of course, whatever you have, whatever symptom you have, lingers on for a long period of time. I do want to put this out there so you're aware. When you put your body in a natural environment where it can heal naturally, in the right state of an environment, where the environment is healthy, the environment is stress-free, you're getting the rest that you need, you're getting the hydration you need, you're getting the nutrients you need, your body will heal without any medication. In fact, if you just live on soup, you will find that your body does heal based on the herbs that you're putting in your soup. It takes your body 14 days to heal if you just allowed yourself to rest and have very light fluids in your body. 14 days. So if you allow your body that opportunity to heal on its own, then you will recover a lot quicker. The other thing I also want to bring to the table of knowledge is reminding you that, again, anytime we're experiencing any type of symptoms in our body, it's also our body's way of letting us know that there's something that may either A, be out of alignment, or that you may very well be going through a spiritual awakening, a spiritual calibration, even for that matter, a Kundalini awakening, for that matter. If you're not familiar with what a Kundalini awakening is, I'll explain a little bit about that later, assuming we have time. But do know that when our bodies are undergoing a huge transformation that we are experiencing right now, again, within literally the beginning of 2025, we had 5 planets within a 6-month period shift from one zodiac sign to the other for a very short period of time, and then rolled back into the zodiac sign they spent a lot of time in. And now here we are again, getting ready to make that same transition, where now these zodiac signs are going to stay in their new placement for a little while. Again, just to recap on those placements, we have Neptune and Saturn that will be transiting into Aries after spending Neptune 14 years in Pisces and Saturn 2.5 to 3 years. That's a long time. We also have Uranus that was in Taurus for about 7 to 8 years, and for a short period of time moved into Gemini, and then retrograde back into Taurus where it is right now, and then will move its way into Gemini again and spend the next 8 years in Gemini. And then we also have our North and South nodes that's going to be making a transition as well. And North and South nodes spend 18 months in the zodiac sign. And then last but not least, we have Jupiter that moves every year. Jupiter transits from one zodiac sign to another. Jupiter spends 12 months in a zodiac sign. So what do we say? Neptune, Saturn, Uranus, the nodes, and Jupiter. 5 planets over a period of time will make its way into a new zodiac sign. And for that matter, for 2026, we also have Chiron, the planet of the wounded healer, that will also be transiting out of Aries, where it spent a very long time in, and getting ready to move into Taurus. Now, I will have a save that particular conversation for a different time because there's a lot to discuss with that energy and how that plays a role as well. Now, those of you who are Aries, Sun, Moon, and Ascending, and when we talk about Chiron, Chiron is a generational planet. So many people have Chiron in Aries on their chart, whatever house it's in. Know that that's a big deal. That is going to be moving out of Aries, just as Neptune and Saturn are going to be moving into Aries. There will be a little bit of time where we will have Neptune and Saturn and Chiron in Aries energy, and then shortly after that, Chiron will make its way out of Aries and into Taurus. So we will always have what's called a what would you call it? Like a bridging, so to speak, where they're crossing each other. At any given time, we have crossing each other's energy. And because of that, that does affect and impact our physical body. So if, for whatever the reasons are, over the last, we'll just pinpoint it to maybe the last 5 years or so, you've experienced a lot of headache and stomach discomfort, you can thank Chiron in Aries for that. And as we move forward, as I said earlier, talked about Taurus already. So Taurus, again, body parts ruled by Taurus are the neck, the throat, vocal cords, and your thyroid glands. The next one, and again, when we talk about Taurus, keep in mind that we do currently have Uranus in its retrograde sitting in Taurus. So again, you may be experiencing some issues with your neck, some issues with your throat. Maybe you are experiencing vocal cords issues. Maybe you're experiencing a thyroid issue as well. And that's due to Uranus being in Taurus at this moment of time. When Uranus moves out of Taurus and moves into Gemini, and that will take place, as I mentioned earlier, the date, and move into Gemini. The body parts that Gemini rules are the arms, the hands, the shoulders, the lungs, and your nervous system. So when Uranus moves into Gemini, where it will spend 9 years, let me just go back to that, find out for you. Uranus will move into Gemini, for those who are curious to know. That will take place on April 25th of 2025. And Uranus will stay there until 2033. And as mentioned, when it moves into Gemini, Gemini rules the arms, the hands, shoulders, lungs, and your nervous system. We're moving on to Cancer energy. For those of you who do have your Sun, Moon, or Ascending in Cancer, or wherever you have Cancer on your chart, whatever house Cancer is in, do note that Cancer is ruled by the Moon's energy. So in theory, we're always feeling the Cancer energy, especially those of you who do have your Sun, Moon, or Ascending in Cancer, because the Moon rotates every 2.5 days. Now, the areas of the body that Cancer rules are the chest and the stomach. So just for some facts, if you happen to have your natal chart where you have Cancer and Aries in your natal chart as your big three, then you may very well struggle with stomach issues because Aries and Cancer both deal with the stomach. And I just want to step back into Gemini's energy because I did not mention it. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and our Taurus is ruled by Venus. Okay, so I want you to have that information as well. So we're moving on to our Leo placements. So those of you who do have your sun, moon, or ascending in Leo, and remember, we have all our zodiac signs in our chart. So in theory, depending on the constitution of your astrology chart, these areas may be extremely powerful for you. Now, the other reason why I'm bringing this up to you is so you do understand that when we are experiencing these shifts, so when the North and South Node move out of Pisces and Virgo and move into Aquarius and Leo, during that transition, every one of us may feel the areas of what Leo rules. So the areas that Leo rules is the heart, the spine, your upper back, and your spleen. So I want you to pay attention to that as well. And the Leo is ruled by the sun's energy. Now, just to give you an idea, when we talk about the sun and we talk about moon, those are the only two planets, and we're calling them planets for now, that do not retrograde. So anyone who do have their sun, moon, or ascending in Cancer or Leo, those energies never retrograde. So there's a constant go, 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 where all the other zodiac signs do get a chance to retrograde, which means that zodiac sign does get a chance to rest because it retrogrades back or gives it time to reflect. Whereas the sun and the moon never gives us time to reflect or review anything. It's constant go, go, go. So as we move into Virgo's energy, Virgo is ruled by Mercury as well. And currently, as I mentioned earlier, we do have the South Node in Virgo energy as we speak, where I'm sure you know somebody or you know many people that in the time frame of the ending of 2024, leading into midway of 2026 for that matter. Actually, I think I have my dates wrong. The beginning of 2025 to the end and middle of 2026. There we go. Our South Node is in Virgo. And Virgo is all about our service, being in service, and it's also about health and fitness and your nervous system. So there's a good probability that you may know of many people that have experienced some health issues this year in 2025 that might have undergone some unexpected surgery and that may be in the process of transitioning from their career because Virgo is all about service. So do pay attention to that. As the South Node and North Node moves out of Pisces Virgo and moves into Aquarius Leo, we will see a conclusion of that energy as that changes over. And again, just to recap on the date to that, so you have it in front of you. When we talk about the North Node's energy, we are talking about, let me get it for you. The North Node will begin its transition into Aquarius and Leo as of July 2026. It is an 18-month cycle. So at that point of time, you may notice that if you did experience any health issues over the last 18 months as of July, that they will start to simmer down because the energy is going to shift. Now, when we talk about Virgo's energy, Virgo is very much associated with the stomach, digestive system, and the intestines as well. Moving on to Libra's energy. Libra is ruled by Venus. Libra is associated with the lower part of your back, your kidneys, your buttocks, and your skin. Now, when we talk about Libra, Libra is a cardinal sign. And because Libra is a cardinal sign, and it's also going to be in opposition of where Aries will be. So with Neptune and Saturn transiting Aries energy, there's going to be an opposition with Libra. Now, something I do want you to pay attention to, especially if you know how to read your astrology chart, the oppositions that will be taking place based on the degree. So if you have Libra on your natal chart in 0 degrees, then early on, the first 3 years of Neptune and Saturn transiting Aries, there will definitely be a opposition going on. Once Neptune and Saturn move out of that 0 degree mark, and you have Libra in 0 degree on your chart, you will not have a direct opposition because the degrees would be different. Now, again, if that's something you're not understanding, if you're not understanding the language of astrology, I again highly recommend that you schedule an astrology reading with me so you can better understand how these transitions are going to actually really play for you. Just a little bit of insight when we talk about degrees. Anything from 0 to 5 degrees is a new process taking place. Anything from 25 to 29 is where we call a detriment, which is something coming to an end within those degree marks. So when you look at your natal chart will give you the degree that particular planet is in on your chart based on the zodiac sign it's sitting in. So there's lots to understand and dissect, but once you do, it definitely helps you to navigate through and for you to determine when these energies are going to be more potent for you than not. So again, when we talk about Libra's energy, we're talking about the lower back, the kidneys, buttocks, and the skin. Moving on to our Scorpio energy, and for those of you who are here watching with me on Facebook or YouTube, I thank you so much for spending your time with me today. If you are watching from Facebook, I would really appreciate that you go ahead and share this out on your group. Let other people know that I am here. I'd appreciate it. And to keep it moving on your Facebook algorithm, I'd also would really appreciate that you type in the word hello, or you can also type in, if you know where Aries is on your chart, what house it's in. And of course, I will come back once I'm not live and come back and comment. And then you come back and comment to me as well so we can keep this moving along and keep it flowing. I would really appreciate that. Those of you who are watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that like button. And of course, share it as well. And those of you who are watching from YouTube and you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. I would appreciate that. 2026 is all about expansion. It's about doing things new. And because we are in what's called the age of the Aquarius, it's really about collaboration, connections, and community. And I'm going to need your help to help grow my community. So with every one of you who are here with me live and even on the replay, sharing this out would be greatly appreciated. So I do want to shout out to those who are here with me live. I do see I have a few of you who are watching, and I really, really do appreciate that. So go ahead and put a comment in. Let me know that you are here. Yes, there is a lot to remember, as someone just posted in the comments. Astrology, there is so much to remember, which is one of the reasons why it's so helpful that if you are watching this, and you're sharing it, you can always come back and rewatch and take notes. Astrology is like a language. And when we think of it like that, it's just learning another language, like we would want to learn Italian or Spanish or Greek or Chinese. Astrology is no different. So anyway, let's move on into our Scorpio energy. When we talk about our Scorpio energy, Scorpios is associated with Mars and also Pluto. In the old astrology, it was Scorpio was associated with Mars. In the newer astrology, you probably heard that Scorpio is more associated with Pluto. But either or, they both work. And with Scorpio in the old astrology being associated with Mars, there is a beautiful conjunction, trine, and sextile, again, depending on the degrees that it's in, on your chart that Scorpio will be having with Aries, with Neptune and Saturn because of that Mars energy. Because remember, Mars is the ruler to Aries energy. So we talk about Scorpio energy. Scorpio is associated with the reproductive system. It's also about the genitals and very much the rectum. Quite interesting on there. I always find that, especially during Scorpio season, so which we're not in anymore, but I always find that when we are in Scorpio season and there's a lot of energy on Scorpio, men are very sensitive at that moment of time with their genitals. So, and we're not in Scorpio season at this moment of time, so that's not something we need to be concerned about right now. um, Currently, before all this energy does move into our fire and air signs, we do have a lot of energy sitting in water at this moment of time. Remember, both Neptune and Saturn are still in Pisces, and Jupiter is still in Cancer. So right there, we have three zodiac signs, three planets sitting in water energy, and that would be Pisces and Cancer energy. So that's really important to pay attention to. And we also do have Pluto transiting in Aquarius at this moment of time. And as I just said a little while ago, Pluto is one of the ruling planets to Scorpio's energy. So currently, at least for the next 13 days, we do have a lot of water energy as we speak. We have a lot of water energy, and I'm just trying to remember. Water energy and earth energy as we speak, because again, we have our north and south node currently sitting in Virgo and Pisces, and that's water and earth energy. And then we also have currently Uranus sitting in Taurus energy. So right now, it's all about water and earth. And as of after 13 days from now, we will have it where it's fire and air. Quite interesting, don't we think? Don't we think that's quite interesting? Where right now it's water and earth, and in 13 days from today it's going to be fire and air. And on a collective note, when we think about the weather we've been experiencing with the rain and the strong winds that we're getting, which is the air, which is the earth's energies, we want to pay attention to that as well. All right, so let's move on to our Sagittarius, which is our fire sign. Sagittarius is actually ruled by Jupiter's energy. So there is a huge component, connection between our Sagittarius right now and Jupiter in Cancer. There's that beautiful energy going on between fire and water because Jupiter currently is in Cancer. Now, once Jupiter does move into Leo, there's going to be an explosive energy of fire because of Jupiter ruling Sagittarius energy. Sagittarius rules the hips, the thighs, and the liver. So again, when we talk about Jupiter's energy in Cancer, how many of you been experiencing your hips, thighs, or your liver talking to you since Jupiter's been in Cancer? I like to believe because of Cancer's energy. Cancer is associated with our physical body as well because of that moon's energy. So pay attention to the specific body parts that's associated with the specific zodiac signs and see how you can correlate whatever's been going on with your physical body within the last, whether it's the last year, whether it's the last 18 months, whatever have you. Because once you can make that connection with how our zodiac signs are connected with our planets and how our zodiac signs are connected with our physical body, you may get that aha moment and realize that it's not all about necessarily not feeling well as much as it is really about a spiritual calibration that's going on with your body. All right, we're going to move into our Capricorn's energy, and we're going to spend a little time here with the Capricorn's energy for a couple of reasons. For one, we're in Capricorn season right now. The calendar, as of December 22nd through January 20th, we are in Capricorn season. We currently have 4 planets 4 planets sitting in Capricorn as we speak. We do have Venus that's sitting in Capricorn. Venus, again, is about our physical body. It's about how we value different things. It's about our physical and material possessions and all relationships. I know that's a mouthful. We also have Mars sitting in Capricorn at this moment in time. Mars is what's called exalted in Capricorn, which is actually a really good thing. You may feel like you're getting a lot more done because of that Mars Capricorn's energy. However, you may also not feel like you're getting a lot done because of other planetary energies that are going on. So again, what may be for one may not be for someone else. So pay attention to that, and also pay attention to where you do have Mars on your chart, because that's going to play a big role. When we talk about the Mars energy in Capricorn, where again it's exalted there, it's about getting the work done, and Capricorn's all about the work. And then we also have Mercury. Now, Mercury has just entered Capricorn. Mercury has entered Capricorn on January 1st and will only stay there until January 20th. So it's a very short visit that Mercury is going to be sitting in Capricorn's energy. I like to believe that when a planet sits in a zodiac sign for a short period of time, means there's going to be some really intensified energies and transactions taking place because of that short period of time. When you think about it, 20 days, that's what is it? Mercury spends roughly 3 weeks in a zodiac sign, and it's just about 20 days we're spending in Capricorn's energy. Mercury is the sign of communication. How are we communicating in the work that we came here to do? How is Mercury communicating with Mars regarding the action? How is Mercury communicating with Venus regarding your values? Now, Mars and Venus are very close together because they're traveling close together. Mercury's a little further away. So with those 3 planets, and I know I mentioned 4, I know I said there's 4, with those 3 planets playing in Capricorn's energy, there is a lot going on for us. Now, the 4th planet is the Sun, because it's Capricorn season. Now, all of these planets are going to transition out of Capricorn very closely together. Only difference here is going to be is that Mercury and Venus are going to move closer together, and Mars will be the last one to transit out of Capricorn. So that's quite interesting. So now Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Capricorn is also a cardinal sign, just like Aries is. So let's talk a little bit about this Capricorn Saturn energy and why is that so important. Because for the next 3 years, we're going to have that Capricornian energy helping us to restructure our foundation. Again, remember the big theme here is who are you and what are you here to do? With Neptune and Saturn moving into Aries, who are you and what am I here to do? With Saturn ruling Capricorn, Capricorn energy is going to play a big role. Now, I really want you to pay attention here when we talk about the energy that Capricorn rules based on the body parts, which are the knees, your bones, your joints, your skin, and your teeth. So if you've been experiencing any flare-ups from your lower extremities, from your hips all the way down to your feet, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. So if you've been experiencing hip discomfort, hip tightness, hip stiffness, makes a lot of sense. So again, when you start to connect the dots regarding what zodiac signs are associated to what part of your body, and then you really understand what's actually going on, because when we talk about hips are about decision making. And right now, many of us are in this process of trying to make a decision, trying to figure it out. I mean, Saturn is going to be moving out of Pisces and helping us to restructure our I am statement. Who are we? Why are we here? So many of us should have pen to paper every single day in a space of journaling to really get to the answers to what it is we're supposed to be doing. Remember those three questions. Who am I? Why am I here? And what legacy am I leaving behind? So we're going to move on to Aquarius. And we will very, very shortly be in what's called Aquarius season. Aquarius season starts as of January 20th and goes to about February 21st-ish, depending on the timing. And we will be experiencing, as I said earlier, we will have the North Node moving into Aquarius, and that will happen in the middle of the year of 2026 in July, if I'm remembering correctly. Just going back to look at my notes. Yes, July 2026. I don't have an actual date, but I will look at that up. I will look that up later and talk about it more as we get closer. So, and then in addition to the North Node being in Aquarius, remember we still have Pluto in Aquarius. So we're going to have Pluto and the North Node transiting your Aquarius placement. So wherever that is on your chart, whatever house that is on your chart, please note that house. Now, Aquarius is ruled by, Aquarius is ruled by two planets. One is Uranus, and the other one is also Saturn. So when we talk about Aquarius, we are going to be looking at when Gemini transitions into when Uranus transitions into Gemini, because that's air. So a lot of intellect that's going to be taking place. And then we're also going to be looking at Aries as Saturn enters Aries and how that's restructuring anything related to Uranus. So let me just give you a little clue to what's going to take place and how this energy plays a role with the North Node in Aquarius. This 18-month cycle is going to activate interventions, your future visions, your group collaborations, your community building, your higher consciousness. Those are all the areas that the North Node in Aquarius is going to play a big role. Now, I also want to bring to your attention when we talk about Uranus entering into Gemini, what that's going to look like. So when Uranus enters into Gemini as of April 25th of 2026, the next 9 years, you can expect revolution in technology, communication, education, travel, AI, and media systems. Unpredictable changes become normal. All that's taking place once Uranus enters Gemini. And remember that when we talk about Uranus entering Gemini and we're talking about the North Node entering Aquarius, why we're talking about the two, Uranus rules Aquarius, and both Gemini and Aquarius are air signs. Lots of intellect, lots of intellect. So it's interesting because when we think about Aquarius and we think about intellect or air signs, you would think that the body part Aquarius is associated would be the head, right? Wrong. Aquarius is actually associated with the lower legs, your shins, and your ankles, and your circular system. So for literally your lower extremities are really being lit up at this moment of time as we are in Capricorn season and we're moving into Aquarius season. The lower extremities are activated at this moment of time. And it gets better. Again, as I mentioned, we are still sitting where we have Neptune and Saturn in Pisces, and our North Node is in Pisces, and our last zodiac sign is Pisces. Pisces is very much associated with Neptune. Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. So with Neptune transiting Pisces as we speak, it's at home. It's at home. It's over the last 14 years has activated our ability to tap into our higher consciousness, tap into our spiritual awareness, tap into our psychic abilities, tap into our dream states, tap into our imaginations, and for that matter, also tap into the space of not knowing the difference between the illusions, delusions, and what's real. So when we think about Neptune sitting in Pisces for the last 14 years, think about your feet, think about your toes, think about your lymphatic system, think about your pineal gland. All of those are connected to Pisces energy and Neptune. So once Neptune even moves into Aries, those areas are going to be very much impacted because Neptune rules your feet. Neptune rules your toes. Neptune rules your lymphatic system. Neptune rules your pineal gland. So we need to pay attention to this energy. We need to pay attention to our body. We need to understand that when we are experiencing what we're experiencing in our physical body, doesn't necessarily mean that we are quote unquote sick, or that we're experiencing a flu, or that whatever it is. And just to put a little metaphysical understanding to the concept of fever, should you have a lot going on with your body, should there be a lot of energy between all of these zodiac signs and the different planets, I know for me, especially in the beginning of 2025, I had what's called a Venus return, a Mercury return. I'm still in a North Node return. And of course, when it was my birthday month, I had my Sun return. So that's 4 different returns taking place, which now, if I wasn't aware of this energy, that could very well have put me in a state of, oh my God, and experiencing maybe flu-like symptoms or even a fever. So when we talk about fever, fever just means our body's getting heated up based on all the energy that's flowing through. It's like you put water in a pot and you turn the stove on. That is going to create bubbling sensation. That's going to create heat in the body. It's the same thing when we think about what's going on in our chart and navigating through. So again, if you happen to have your North Node in Pisces, and it is a generational energy, you went through your North Node return. Depending on where you have, if you have Venus in Pisces in the early part of the year, you went through a Venus return. Depending on where you have your Mercury in the beginning of the year, you went through a Mercury return in Aquarius. We go through these, and these returns are bringing us back to exactly the timing to where these planets were at the time of your birth. So this is one of the reasons why I was so passionate about coming and sharing my time with you. Almost 48 minutes of my time, well, more than 48 because I got here early. Almost an hour of my time with you to share this information to help you better understand what may be going on with your physical body at this moment in time. Why your mental health right now is so important. Because again, when we think about currently the energy we're in right now, we still have Neptune and Saturn in Pisces. We still have our North and South Node in Pisces and Virgo. We still have Uranus sitting in Taurus. We still have Jupiter sitting in Cancer. We still have Pluto in Aquarius. Have I missed any? I don't think so. Those are our outer planets. So because of that, we need to pay attention to how much energy is sitting in what elements. Now, when I speak about elements, the elements would be fire, earth, air, and water. Your fire elements are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Your earth elements are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Your air elements are Gemini. I always do that. Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And then, of course, your water elements are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So you really do need to understand what your elements are and how many of our planets are sitting in those elements. Because if we do have a lot of energy like we do right now, we have a lot of energy sitting in Earth because of Capricorn. We have 4 planets sitting in Earth's energy right now. We have our South Node sitting in Virgo. So that's 5 planets sitting in Earth's energy right now. So you may feel like things are slow to get started because Earth energy is calm. Earth energy is patient. Sometimes Earth energy could be slow to get started. Think of Earth energy like a turtle. Doesn't move so fast, but it gets the job done because it's pacing itself. So if you feel as though you've had a hard time getting things on the momentum, that's all going to change once these planets move out of our Earth sign and they start to move into a more productive energy. Again, we have 4 planets sitting in Capricorn. We have our South Node sitting in Virgo, and then we have Uranus sitting in Taurus. So we have all of our Earth signs on up and going. So if you're not embracing the possibility of being able to take your time and slow down and really smell the roses during this energy, you're going against the grind, and that's where the resistance is coming from. And that's why you feel like, why isn't things moving along? That's going to change. That's going to change as soon as Capricorn season ends. That's 4 planets that's going to move forward. 4 planets, and those are the planets that are closest to us. When we think about Mars, Mercury, and Venus, those are our closest planets. They're closest to us. They're going to move, and that means we're going to move as well. So we're then going to move out of the Earth energy, and we're going to move into the air energy because Aquarius is air, intellectual energy. Our other planets, though, will still continue to stay where they are until Neptune and Saturn moves. Neptune moves on January 26th into fire. So Neptune will no longer be in that water element. We will still have, until February 13th, Saturn in our water. We will still have the North Node in water because it's in Pisces. And we will still have Jupiter in water in Cancer. So think about it. So as the sun and the closer planets move out of our Earth energy and move into air energy, we will still have Saturn, Jupiter, and the North Node sitting in water. So still an emotional process because of that water energy, because water is all about our emotions. How are we emotionally managing all of this energy? How are we emotionally managing all of this energy? So again, I chose to want to come and share this insight with you to help you navigate. I do recommend that you come back, re-listen to this video, take notes, get really familiar with your 4 elements. Again, fire, earth, air, and water. Get very familiar. If you have not pulled up your own astrology chart just yet, if you don't know how, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy to gather your information and get you a natal chart so you can better understand how to read and navigate when we're coming together. If you need to get an astrology reading as we're moving into all of this new energy, I recommend that you do so. This way here, again, you could take a look at those big placements where you have Neptune and Saturn. What houses are they in? And then where you have Aries, because those are the 3 placements that's going to be a really big movement for the first 3 years of 2026. At least for the first half of 2026. First half of 2026. And then the other half of 2026 is when we're going to get the movement from the other planets that's going to go. Right off the back, the planets Neptune and Saturn, that's right in the beginning of 2026. Everything else doesn't start to move until we move into half of 2026. So we'll get to experience the Neptune-Saturn transit before any of the other planets make their move. We'll still, of course, have the sun and the 3 other closer planets doing what they're doing. But the outer planets will get to experience the Neptune Saturn motion before we experience the Uranus and the Jupiter and the North and South movements. They're not all moving at the same time. Thank goodness for that. So Neptune moves January 26th, and then less than a month after that, Saturn will move on February 13th, on the same day of Lunar New Year, when we will be moving out of the snake year and moving into the fire horse year. Very big deal. Very big deal. We have lots of new coming in. Now, I couldn't go and discuss all this energy without talking about the energy of the numbers. We are in 2026 now. If you've been following me since the very beginning, you know that I talk about the numbers based on this year's, particularly most of your numerologists are talking about 2026. You add those numbers up and you get a whopping beautiful one. Because in numerology, we take the numbers and add them up, and whatever the number is, we reduce it down to a single digit. However, very different for this year. We want to recognize the number before we take it down to a single digit. When you add 2026 up, you get a 10. That 10 is extremely important because that 10 is a mirror energy of that Saturn energy, which is associated with Capricorn. That 10 is reminding you that 2026 is really about the work that you are here to do. And remember, Aries is associated with your who am I, what am I here to do, and what legacy am I leaving behind. So that 10 plays a big part in this energy we're moving into. Then once we understand the concept of the 10 being associated with Saturn, because 10,000 astrology is associated with Capricorn and Saturn's energy. So once we understand that, then we can turn around and look at the 1 and the 0 in that 10's energy. The 1 is the new ways of going about what we're going to all be doing because it's a new astrological year with Aries energy. Everything is going to be new. None of us have any idea what this energy is going to be like because we've never experienced. Yes, we had a small taste of what Neptune and Saturn feels like in Aries, but we did not have a taste of what it feels like in 2026 with a fire horse year. And that's important. The 0 in the 10 is reminding you that this is an infinity energy. It's unlimited energy. It's constant. It's constant. It's constant. It's constant. It is constant. And that's why this energy is so important. That's why this transition is so important. That's why it's so important to pay attention to your physical body. Pay attention to your mindset. Pay attention to your soul. Especially for my women over 40. This is big energies and a lot of transitions happening in our bodies. Now, I'm not going to really go into big details about how all these energies are playing a big role in our chakra system, especially for my ladies over 40, on how that's playing a big role in your spiritual awakening, your calibration, and also your Kundalini awakening as well for my ladies over 40. Now, if for whatever the reasons are, you have any of your chakras that are stagnant or even blocked, this is where the physical symptoms are going to be very intense as this energy is trying to move through. So again, I highly recommend that you do schedule a what I like to call a Reiki talk therapy, so you can get this energy to move, so you can really embrace this energy that's coming in for my ladies over 40. Otherwise, you may be feeling this energy in your body. You may be feeling this energy in your body. Your body may very well begin to talk to you from your heart into your belly, into your head, into your hips, into your knees, into your back. And just to sum it up, just to give you a general idea, I'm going to sum it up for you. I'm going to sum it up based on the astrological signs that are be potent for 2026, the body parts that's going to be potent. Okay, write this down, people. Write this down. The potent energies, your head and stomach, The first half of 2026, neck, throat, vocal cords, and your thyroid gland. As Uranus moves into Gemini, we're going to have your arms, your hands, shoulders, and nervous system and lungs. Your chest and stomach again. Your hips, thighs, and liver. Your knees, bones, and joints. Your lower legs, your shins, your ankles, your feet, your toes, your lymphatic system, and your pineal glands. That's just summing it up, and I haven't even touched on everything. Because remember, towards the second half of 2026, our Leo energy is going to be lit up. Our Leo energy is going to be lit up. So, again, there's a lot to cover, a lot to understand. And I want you to pay attention to what it is your body is trying to tell you. So if you do start to experience any issues with maybe your hands hurt, metaphysically, just think about it this way. If your hands hurt, you got to let go of whatever it is you're trying to hold on to. That's the metaphysical of your hands. If your hands hurt, if your hands are stiff, your hands are tired, you have to let go of whatever it is you're trying to hold on to. So if you're trying to hold on to a job, if you're trying to hold on to a relationship, and your hands are hurting, loosen up your grip. That is the bottom line there. If your head, if you're getting consistent chronic headaches, it's a possibility that you are overanalyzing everything. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. If you have a lot of stress in your neck and shoulders, means you're taking on everyone else's stuff. You got to let it go. Let it go. Let it go. I'm going to leave it there because, again, there's a lot to take in. A lot to take in. Now you have an understanding of all of your zodiac signs, their associated body parts, and, of course, their associated planets with all that is going on. Again, just to recap, we're paying attention to our Aries placement, and we're also paying attention to Neptune and Saturn, at least in the beginning part of 2026, before we move into all the other planets who are going to make their transitions. When we think about Aries placement, we think about Saturn. We want to remember that Saturn rules Capricorn. And both Saturn and Capricorn very much associated with the 10th house on your chart, which is all about your soul's work that you came here to do. Remember, Aries is who am I? Why am I here? What is my legacy I want to leave behind? 3 questions you may be in the process of asking yourself. And if for whatever the reasons are, you're having a challenging time making decisions, you may very well be feeling very very uncomfortable in your lower extremities, because for most part, when we talk about the Jupiter Cancer energy, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. That's all lower body. When we talk about Capricorn's energy, that's all lower body. When we talk about Aquarius energy, that's all lower body. When we talk about our Pisces energy, that's all lower body. And that's the energy we're moving into. That's the energy we're moving into. We are currently in Capricorn season. We will move into Aquarius season. We're going to be moving into Pisces season. And then we'll be moving into Aries season. So I hope that you found this to be enlightening, empowering, and you're inspired by all of this. And you're excited about what's to come for you when both Neptune and Saturn move out of Pisces and move into Aries, and that you look at your chart to see how that energy is going to influence you. And remember, whatever it is that you are focused on, you have the choice to change your thinking. Change your thinking, change your outcome. Change your thinking, change your outcome. So if there's something going on in your life that you don't like the way it's going on, you have the choice to change it. Only you can change it. Otherwise, you're going to continue to not feel good. Nothing is ever permanent. Everything is a constant change. So you get to decide on what it is you want to do. You have to be the one to make the change. If you're experiencing discomfort in your body, that your body is letting you know that there's something that's out of alignment. And then you have to be the one to try to figure out how to put it back into alignment. Now, you don't necessarily have to do it alone. You can grab a Reiki Talk Therapy session with me, and we could do it together. You want to learn more about your astrology and numerology makeup? Reach out to me for a reading. All right, all that being said, enjoy the rest of your night. It was really exciting to be back to share some insight. Like I said, it's been a hot minute since I've been live, and I'm super excited that I came here to do this today, to share insight with you. And I will be making it my intention to come back and share more with you on a regular basis. Until then, ooh, I didn't pull a card. Let's pull a card. Why not, right? Let's see what our card have to say. Whoops, oops. They all want to fly out, but I'm not reading 5 cards. Okay, I'm going to pick up just the one I showed. Ah, such a perfect card. Rebirth. And that's exactly what we're all about to experience. With 2 of our planets getting ready to move into a whole new astrological cycle, 2026, after we talked about the 10 energy coming down to a 1, is a brand new 9-year cycle as well. 2026 starts a brand new 9-year cycle. So this is totally a rebirth. That pink energy is remembering that it's really important to focus on joy and shift your mindset. So if you are not feeling happy and joyful and excited about this energy that's coming through, you got to ask yourself, what can I do so I can feel excited about the energy coming through? Number 2-1 is that 3 energy. So this is really about how you're going to communicate, what you're going to learn, and how you're going to teach. Because we're all students and we're all teachers at the same time. So embrace that beautiful number. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. And until we meet again, have yourself an amazing, amazing rest of the day. Bye-bye for now.